Kira Phillips live at CNN World Headquarters in Atlanta.
And I'm TJ Hallman today for Don Lemon, who's on assignment in India. Signs of a thaw, but hey, we're not talking global warming this time. It's all about diplomacy between Iran and the U.S.
A meeting in Baghdad marks the first time the nations have formally spoken in 27 years. Some topics are still very much off the table, though. You're live in the CNN newsroom. Ceremonies, a grateful nation pauses to honor its war dead. One scene of the tributes this Memorial Day, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, always a place to remember, reflect, and grieve. And earlier today, President Bush made his 6th Memorial Day visit to Arlington National Cemetery as a wartime commander-in-chief. He laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns and paid tribute to all generations of men and women.
The greatest memorial to our fallen troops cannot be found in the words we say or the places we gather. The more lasting tribute is all around us. A country where citizens have the right to worship as they want, to march for what they believe, and to say what they think. These freedoms came at great costs, and they will survive only as long as there are those willing to step forward to defend them against determined enemies.
Now, before the solemn visit, President Bush met privately with the families of several fallen U.S. troops at the White House. Loss, tenderness, love, and duty, they're all captured in this image that we're about to show you. This photo from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram shows Francisco Paco Martinez visiting the grave of his son, Army Specialist Francisco Pauqito Martinez. You'll notice the father is wearing a uniform. Well, that's because he decided to re-enlist in the Air Force Reserves just to honor the sacrifice that his son made. He died at the age of 20, killed in action in Iraq. And on this Memorial Day, Francisco Martinez joins us now from Dallas to talk about how he's remembering his son. Paco, great to see you.
Great to see you too, Carrie.
I just want to go back to that photo for a minute. This is the photo that actually my segment producer, she saw the article, read the article, saw this picture, and she turned to me and she said, we have to interview this father. And we're so lucky that to find you, to have you with us. Tell me what was going through your mind this moment when you took this photo, knowing what you were about to do.
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for having me on the show as well. A lot of things were going through my mind. As a matter of fact, it's been precisely a week from today. I graduated the United States Air Force Security Forces Academy, and in fact, after the interview, and that's the reason why I'm in uniform, I'll be going over to the gravesite as well to show my son both my badge of authority and my new acquisitions. So all along, I'm always thinking about, he's always on my mind, and likewise all the other young men and women that are in service right now, and that has all to do with the reason of me joining again. And
you're going over there today. I know you visit the gravesite of your son quite a bit. What do you talk to him about? What do you tell him? What's the message that you give him as you go and visit him?
It's funny you put it that way. It is indeed a conversation that I have with him, and I do that. We talk a little bit about everything. Believe it or not, both himself and I were big computer enthusiasts. I mean, we still are, and he used to love to see the ads that would come out with specials on computer gear and things like that. What movies are playing at the movie theater. Segments of music. I've been trying to, upgrade myself into my music knowledge, and so I try to keep him up to date on all those things and talk about what's going on with the rest of the family members and things that are going on in my life.
He was quite a musician, wasn't he?
He was indeed very talented. Poetry, visual arts, and even music as well. Now
we're looking at video, home video. There he is playing his drums, but just prior to that, he was with his little sister. There he is with her again. I'm just curious, what kind of big brother was he? And when you told your daughter what you were doing, did it make her nervous?
Well, for the first part of the question, he was a fantastic big brother. I mean, that's something I I want to just share. I mean, he was odd in the sense that he was never awkward with children younger than him. I remember that once you get to a certain age, you just, you know, you don't want to lose your level of coolness, you know what I mean, and all that. And that was never the case with him. He was always a gentle soul. He was always all about the children. One of my favorite pictures of him in Iraq is it's actually interacting with Iraqi children. And I know that both with his nephews and with my daughter, you know, I mean, his sister, he was always just nuts about her and cared for her a great deal. As far as Monica, my daughter, it was been very, very, very tricky. I mean, this whole thing about trying to rejoin, obviously, in fact, I had to make a few extra trips on the weekends from the San Antonio area where I was going to school for 3 months over here to Dallas and Fort Worth area. Because again, at times she would even say things to Mom like, you know, is Daddy gonna die? Just because I was away for a weekend, so for a week. So you could tell that that still weighs very heavy on her mind, even though it's been a few years now since the passing of my son.
Well, the re-enlistment, is this a way for you to cope with your son's death, to stay close to your son? Do you worry about your own life?
Absolutely. I mean, I re-enlisted in a way to honor his service, and something very important that happened has to do with the way, just before re-enlisting. I mean, obviously, I separated from the military on my first period of service back in 1991 after the end of the first Gulf War. I have been from 82 to 91, so I had a pretty good span of service that involved the United States Army and the United States Air Force. But 15 years afterwards, or throughout, you know, I mean, there was just a computer geek, you know, going out there working in the information technology sector, and my coworkers over in Irving, Las Colinas, in the Dallas Metroplex area, none of them had, you know, military backgrounds. I had no reservists or National Guardsmen that were co-workers of mine. And one of the things was that for me was very important was once, you know, when he would come up and chat with me on the internet, interactive conversations that we would have while he was over in Iraq, for example, my coworkers would get up and be around me as we were talking. And so none of us ever imagined that he was going to pass away. And when he did, I mean, it was just as hard for me and amazingly to them as well. And one of the things that they commented was how sure they have heard so many times in the media and so forth the many losses that we were having over in Iraq, but never until this happened did they make it their own. Did they feel it that it would be, you know, they had such a connection from then on with all the young servicemen and women that are passing, and they looked at it from a different point of view afterwards. So I felt an obligation to best honor his service, to keep his memory alive, to rejoin, and to also try to also represent then all of those who have a sticker that says support our troops in their cars, you know. But the way I saw it is, if I'm an able-bodied and they'll have me, I wanted to go out there and indeed support the troops in my way.
Well, we salute you, and we'll be following your career, and also we lift up the memory of your son Pauqito today as well. Paco Martinez, thank you.
Thank you very much.